The diets of most Americans are too high in calories, fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, sugar, salt, and alcohol. Many consume insufficient amounts of fruits and vegetables, and we certainly know that eating like this, the standard American diet, puts people at greater risk of disease. Since 1980, every 5 years, the USDA and the Department of Health and Human Services comes out with dietary guidelines for Americans. And these are the foundation for nutrition policy and education. Why is this important? Why should we care? Poor health is certainly a personal challenge, but it is actually a public health challenge as well. And it is important that we come up with and we help support people with guidelines to make some choices that are going to help them promote optimal health. Over the years, there's been an evolution of food guides to help Americans understand what are the best food choices they should be making. In the 90s, we had the pyramid with grains on the bottom, fruits and vegetables, then meat and dairy, and sugar and added fats on the top. This didn't distinguish very well quality within each of these groups, so that was a limitation of that. Physical activity was then brought in as a bigger component. In 2005, the next pyramid included physical activity as a primary component, and the different colors show the different food groups. Not that much different than the pyramid from the 90s. In more recent years, the USDA has shifted to this plate visual. It's always aiming to create an image that's easy for people to understand, help them to make some shifts into dietary patterns around healthy eating. So the goal with the plate is to remind people to think about building a healthy plate at meal times. These images are just a start. It certainly doesn't give us much detail on what are the best foods within each group, but it can be the beginning and there can be other resources for people to access. So as I talk about some of these tools, I want you to be thinking about what do you think is useful? What do you think people would use and actually help them to create change in their diet? So the image of the plate is a start, but there's a lot more that goes behind it. So if you go to choosemyplate.gov, you'll see lots of additional information and tools to help people to make decisions around their food choices. Here's a more detailed breakdown of food quantity to help create a well-balanced diet within a range of different calorie levels. So this can be a useful step for individuals to understand more about how much that they should be eating. And again, as we talked about before, how much is a start, and then we want to still have variety within each of these. So it gives us that breakdown. We know if this is the calorie level that you should be having, this is some boundaries for each of those food categories. Here gives an estimate of calorie needs simply based on gender and age. This is very general. In the coming weeks, we're going to learn how to calculate to determine calorie needs, which is much more useful, but gives us a general picture for people to use. Here's another tool giving an idea of serving sizes. If so many ounces of grains are recommended, it then gives you serving sizes of that. So you can start creating meals based on some of these quantities. Cups, fruits and vegetables, and dairy is a little bit easier, but when we look at proteins and grains, people don't have a concept of what 1 ounce of grain looks like, and so this is a useful breakdown to help. Again, visual image is really helpful. So when you say a tablespoon is about the size of your thumb, that can help people to get an idea. They're not going to necessarily take out a measuring spoon and see what a tablespoon is, but they can look at their thumb and say, okay, the tip of my thumb is about a tablespoon. So these are all tools that can just help be guides for people and for the population as a whole to make better food choices. And again, these are government guidelines, and so it is looking at populations as a whole. Everyone is different, and so when we look at individuals, we might approach it much more specifically to that person, but we need tools to guide populations as well. And then we can also use tools to help people create meals using the guidelines from Choose My Plate. So it all comes down, of course, to putting a meal on the table. So Choose My Plate, a good image, shows you if you're sitting down to a meal, can you just take a look at your plate and see where that breakdown is and how much of the plate is from each of these categories. And then we can dig a little bit deeper based on our calories and based on our nutrient needs and create meals for each individual.